Good morning, everyone. I was just thinking today about the path that's led me to where I am today, and I just thought I would share it with you. So, my interest in hypnotherapy came upon me over 20 years ago when I was a student. I picked up a book in a bookshop, and my interest from that point on just grew and grew. And I spent 20 years reading about it, dreaming of one day that I could work with people in this way, but being full of self-doubt and not not believing in myself, not believing I had the ability or the qualifications to ever work in that kind of way with people. But it was a passion that never went away. It always lay underneath me, a passion that I wanted to work with people and help them understand where their problems were coming from and see if they could surpass them. And through that time, I did learn how to surpass certain things that happened to me in life. I managed to surpass them, sometimes with grace and ease, and sometimes a little more difficultly. And I was always curious about that. I was curious about how did I manage to go through some of these things that happened to me that other people on the outside were telling me would have broken them, and that they kept expecting me to break and to not be able to carry on moving forward. But I did, and I always had it in the back of my mind, is am I going to break one day? Is one day is this all going to come back to haunt me from the past, all these different incidents from my life? And so far that hasn't happened, I'm glad to say. But after my dad died in 2015, I had a really dark year. Just like the darkest year of my life, because I'm a really optimistic person generally. I'm usually happy-go-lucky. Things don't get me down for too long. But that year just showed me how heavy and dark life can get. And you're still functioning on a level. Like I was still going to work. I was still looking after my children. I was still interacting with people, but inside there was a different story going on, and it really opened my eyes up to knowing that what you see of a person isn't always what's going on behind the eyes, so to speak. So it helped my compassion to grow, and to know that when people are not acting in the way that I think they should, or they're being rude or down or grumpy or any kind of negative way, that generally there's a reason behind that. So anyway, after that really dark year, I just suddenly had a voice in my head saying, like, just do it, life's too short, just do the things you want to do, follow your dreams, and you can do it. Just put your mind to it and you can do it. So that's what I did. I went out and trained in hypnotherapy, and that whole year just went so smoothly and swimmingly. Everything was going to plan. I loved it. Although I say I loved it, but there were still elements that I thought, this isn't quite it, this isn't quite right. There's elements that are brilliant and that work perfectly, and then there's another side to it that maybe isn't as well, helpful as I thought, maybe. And then I came across an understanding, because I was still searching for answers. And just by chance, I listened to a podcast that just seemed to speak to me. It was very down to earth and very simple, and it was full of fun, and it just didn't seem to take life so seriously. The people on the podcast didn't seem to take life so seriously. Things were a bit more light-hearted and joyful, and that really resonated with me. It really spoke to me of how I love to be in life and how I would love to be in life with my clients. So the more and more I looked into this, the more I realised that this is it. This is what I've been looking for. This is the... It was a feeling of coming home. It was a feeling of, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to work with people in this way and teach them this understanding of how the human mind works, or how everything works. And that just, in one way, stopped me in my tracks, because I wasn't sure, how do I go about this? How do I go about working with people in this way, because it's such a natural, simple way to work that for some reason I made it all so much more complicated in my head. So I took the next step anyway, and that was to train in this understanding, an inside out understanding, an understanding that helps us to realise how we perceive the world, how we see the world, and anything that happens in it, any events, and the way that we perceive them creates either positive or negative results in life. And as I've looked deeper and deeper into this, things have just become a bit more easeful. When things aren't going to plan, or what I think is to plan, I know that there's that voice in the back of my mind that's watching and saying, this'll pass, and I know it to be true now. And it's such a peaceful place to be, until it's not, because as a human being, life happens to us, and sometimes the things that happen in life don't seem like they're not a good thing. They're difficult to manoeuvre. But even then, just the knowing that we'll get past that at some point, it really helps. And so as time's gone on, that feeling of feeling stuck, of feeling stopped in my tracks, of not knowing how to move forward, it's just kind of eased off, and I've become a lot more confident in the way that I'll work with people and talk to people. And I just want everyone to know, I just want everyone to have this understanding, because it just makes life so much easier. My aim is to work with people, with children, teenagers, parents, people who work in education, to help them be in the moment, to understand that life happens, but if we're in the moment, we're able to cope with that, we're designed to cope with that. And I'm just really loving getting this across to people, and having these conversations, these connections with people that go to a deeper level, I suppose, and I see it a bit like creating a ripple effect, or planting a seed. I plant the seeds of this understanding and how we work psychologically. And then those seeds germinate over time, and as time goes on, the seeds flower, and people just start to have a nicer life. People start to take action to create the life that they want to have. And also actually realise what they truly want from life. Because sometimes we have all these goals and aspirations, but when we actually really sit down and think about them, we find that actually they're not our own goals and aspirations, are not that true to us. They've come from outside, from other people, from what we believe we should want to have and happen in life. And so it's all good. It's all a learning curve. And it's all there within each and every one of us, just to be ready to be discovered. So that's probably enough for one morning. A bit of rambling going on there. You'll probably be thinking, what the heck's she on about? But if you are interested in learning a bit more about this, then just get in touch, send me a message, and I'd be so happy to talk to you about it. Have a good day.